So I just wanted to jump in here and let you guys know that this is my first weekly vlog where I do daily updates. Every day I give you a little snippet, which is great. I did not go into this week thinking that the video was going to be this long, but the reason for that is that there are some mini book hauls that happen along the way. You'll see for yourself, they weren't anticipated, but I just want to let you know that as a warning before you start watching this. Okay, back to our regular programming. Okay, welcome to my very first of the weekly reading vlogs. From now on, I'm going to do one reading vlog a week with little daily updates every single day. Today, being Monday, it's the start of a new week, and dash it all, I've already DNF'd my first book for August, and we're not even 4 days in. Or we are just something around that mark. It's like 3 or 4 days in. I don't know, it's very late. But I've DNF'd my first book for the month. It's such a shame. It was Nevernight. So I ended up getting 4 chapters in. I wanted to get 6 chapters in that was my daily goal, and I just couldn't. This book for me was really hard to keep up with, but I just kept pushing myself because a lot of people have talked about, those who love this book, have talked about how good it is, but Jay Kristoff, who is the author of this book, has shrouded this book in so many metaphors. His writing is so extremely flowery that it's really hard to keep up with him. And I just could not get a foothold into this book at all, and it's giving me the Shadow of What Was Lost reminders, even though that's not as flowery as this one. The Shadow of What Was Lost is not as flowery as Nevernight at all. Jay Kristoff is the most flowery writer I've ever read. I found myself very lost, Shadow of What Was Lost, with that book, and I find myself very lost with this book. And I can't enjoy a book where I'm feeling lost. So this book has been DNF'd, and I'm not going to be reading it again. Goodbye. Okay, so I had to replace that with something else, and it took me a hot minute to get there because I tried replacing it with 2 of the books that you saw on these books did not make it onto my August TBR video, and I tried. I selected one of them and it wasn't working for me. Then I selected another one and it wasn't working for me either. So I was in a very tough situation, but I decided to bite the bullet and start reading a book that I already planned on reading next month, but just bringing it forward a month. So at the end of last month, I finished off my read of Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, and I loved that series so much. I knew I needed to read me some more Rochelle Mead, and so I've done the one thing that I never thought I was going to do, but I did it because of how much I loved the way Vampire Academy ended. I've picked up the Bloodlines series, which is the spin-off series to Vampire Academy. In the series of Vampire Academy, one of the characters that's in that series, her name is Sydney Sage, and she is an alchemist. This series follows Sydney's story taking place post the final book in the Vampire Academy series. There are other characters that have come into this book that were also in the Vampire Academy series, and I'm enjoying my ride at the moment. It's been a lot of fun. So, once again, when it comes to DNFing, I do not regret DNFing this book, because this has been amazing. So I am there, which is 88 pages in. It's been a good journey. It's been so good to be back in this world, not even a week after I finished the final book in the last series. And, Rochelle Mead, I feel like I've come home. So very happy, and we'll be reading this book throughout the week. This book will replace Nevernight. So my goal for this week is to finish this book. The second book that I was reading today was More of the Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. So this author Neil Gaiman has been recommended to me by Murphy from the booktube channel Murphy Napier, my favourite booktuber ever. In fact, she was the inspiration for this channel, so go check her out if you haven't already. Murphy has talked a lot about Neil Gaiman being one of her favourite authors, and the fact that his writing can start off so slow, and then from out of nowhere just kind of zip off into a direction that triggers some kind of emotion out of you, and I'm really looking forward to that happening. So with this book, my first and there he is, Neil Gaiman. My first Neil Gaiman book, I am there. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm there. Which is 33 pages in. I'm up to chapter 3, and so far I'm enjoying this book. It's a really easy read, which I love because not every book I've been reading lately have been easy, but this book is really, really easy to read. And it's been great. It feels more like a contemporary than a fantasy, but I'm guessing this is what Murphy was talking about. At some point, we will zing off into the fantasy elements and it will incite some emotion or evoke some emotion from me. But we've just gone through an emotional scene involving a little boy who was given a kitten, and then that kitten unfortunately was killed, and the person who killed the kitten bought the boy a new cat and gave the boy the new cat 1 second after the boy was told that the kitten was killed. That was an emotional scene for me because you can't replace animals. So that was tough for me to read, but I'm at a stage now where I'm really intrigued to see where this book is going, because the prologue that I started reading the prologue yesterday and I had no idea what was happening, but now I have some idea of where we might be going, and if I'm right, I'm really going to enjoy this book. I did not read any Book Thief today. I decided to take a day off. I decided that yesterday, but I will be getting back into it tomorrow, and considering my troubles with Nevernight, I'm looking forward to actually getting back to this book. At least this book is easy enough to follow and isn't shrouded in metaphors, so we'll see how we go. But these are the books that I will now be reading for this week, and I will be back to give you more and more updates as we go throughout the week. But this video has gone on long enough already, so if you'd like to buddy read along with me, please do let me know. I'd love to know your own thoughts. If you've read these, let me know what you thought of them in the comments section below. But of course, please do not leave spoilers. We don't want to spoil it for anyone. If you'd like to discuss spoilers with me, my email's in the description below, so you can email me and we can do that over there. In the meantime, letting you go, peace, blessings, and so much love. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye! So before we go into my next reading vlog, I just wanted to let you guys know that I received some books today. So the COVID-19 situation here where I live in Melbourne, Australia has gotten really out of control. We've gone into stage 4 restrictions, which means that most of the stores in Melbourne have had to close, and there is a curfew. This is the first time in my life that there is a legal curfew that has been placed onto my city, which is a little scary, but we're just going to have to deal with that. So yeah. Because of this, there was a fear that my bookstore would have to close down, but one of the exemptions to the rule is news agencies, and the bookstore that I purchased from is connected to a news agency, so I got very lucky because of the fact that it's connected to the news agency, which is considered essential. So they get to remain open, the news agency, which means the bookstore also gets to remain open. So I'm very happy about that. But while they were going through the motions of not knowing if they were going to close or not, my bookstore wanted to deliver to me the books that they had at the moment, so I could at least have them. But really happy they're not closing. So I want to show you the books that I received from them. First book I'm showing you is Calamity. This is the final book in the Reckoners series by Brandon Sanderson. It's very shiny by Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, so I read Steelheart and gave it 5 stars, and Firefight, I think I gave Firefight like 3. So this is the conclusion, and I'm looking forward to reading it. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. So this is a book, you know, those situations where if you hear a song enough times, then even when the song's not playing, you feel like you're still hearing it in your mind. I humorously blame Murphy of BookTube World, Murphy Napier, for this book because she mentions the lies of Loch Lamora that much that even when I'm not watching her channel, I keep hearing the words, the lies of Loch Lamora. So I have to read this book. I have to give it a go. So I finally have it. It's taken months for me to get this book because I started first hearing her talk about this book months ago, maybe in April, and we're now in August. So I finally have this book. I'm going to give it a go. We'll see how we go. I was very excited when I found out I received the next book, The Air. Oh my gosh. So I love the Selection series. I don't remember what book 2 is, but the Selection is book 1, then we have book 2, and book 3 is The One. And all 3 of those books I gave 5 stars to, but the Selection series is really hard to get in Australia. So this book finally came in, and that's why the Selection series hasn't been on my TBR for a little while, but it will be in September. Yay! So excited to read this. If you saw my review of the Selection, then you know of the One, so the third book, The One in the Selection series, then you know how much I've been looking forward to reading this because it ended in a way that made me just need to read more. I kind of want to dive into it now, but I won't. I'm going to hold off and put it into my September TBR. And the final book I'm going to show you guys, we've already taken a ton of time here, so I do apologise, but the final book I want to show you guys is a book that I thought was going to be impossible to get into Australia. I haven't seen it in any bookstore anywhere. I even called my bookstore that gave me these 3 books and asked them to order it, and they said they couldn't. And I was going crazy about this because everyone in America says it's such a good series, and I can't believe I have a copy in Australia. So, Australians, it can be done. I'm proof it can be done. I am holding Cinder, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I'm very excited to read this. Again, it will probably go on my September TBR, but proof. We can get it in Australia, it takes a lot of work to get it done. Alright, crossing over now to my daily update, which will be much shorter than this, I promise. Okay, so it is Tuesday, time for another daily update, and I'm going to keep this really brief. I'm going to try and keep all of my daily updates really brief so that my end of week weekly reading vlog can be shorter than half an hour. Fingers crossed, we'll see how we go. Today, I read The Book Thief. I have not finished it, but I devoted the entire day to reading this one book. I am there, which is 505 pages in out of 584, so I'm so close to being done. I am going to shelve this for about 2-3 days, but I will come back to it. So this book is not the book for me, but it's not a bad book by any means, which is why I did not DNF it. It is a historical fiction. It is narrated by Death, but don't go into this book because of the fact that it's narrated by Death. I made that mistake because that is not the point. The point of the book is that it's a historical fiction that follows an adopted girl who's being raised in war-torn Germany. There are some beautiful bits, there are some hard bits to read. All in all, it's okay, but I'm just not a fan of historical fiction, but I will finish it. Tomorrow, I'm going back to The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman because I'm going to try and read a different book each day throughout this week and focus on that book rather than reading 3 at once. I'm looking forward to it. Where we left off with this one, it was finally getting to the point where it seemed like things were going to get a little bit more dark or twisted or emotional or whatever the point of Neil Gaiman is. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll read that tomorrow, and this is the end of my Tuesday day. Read a ton of The Book Thief, and tomorrow we'll go into The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Bye! So just quickly jumping in again before I go and do my daily update in another room. I received another book today that was delivered to me, so I'm, getting a lot of books coming in, which is really nice, and I'm really enjoying showing them to you guys throughout this weekly reading vlog. So the book that I received today is this book, Igniting the Phoenix by Althea Steron. Now, I did say yesterday that one of the books was really hard. Cinder is really hard to get in Australia. This book, I had to climb a mountain to get this book in Australia. Now, I can honestly say I know nothing about this book. But it's really heavy. Now that I'm holding it, I'm realizing how heavy it is. But there's a reason why I want to read this book, and it's not because of the book itself. It's because of who narrates it on Audible. My two favourite booktubers came together. So Murphy from the booktuber channel Murphy Napier and Daniel from the booktuber channel Daniel Green come together to narrate this book. And ever since I found that out, I've wanted this book. It's taken a long time, but I finally have it. Yay! So going to add it to my collection to go onto my TBR for September. Back to our regular programming. Okay, so it is Wednesday, which means it's time for another reading update. We're going to try and get through this really quickly. Starting off with The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I am there, page 162, and I get it. Finally, I've gotten to the point where I understand what people are saying about Neil Gaiman and how his books can start off kind of slow. It almost read like a contemporary for a little while, and then it just zings off out of nowhere into this darkness period, and oh my god, this book is so good. I'm really enjoying myself, and yeah, it's really amazing. So it's kind of, without giving away too many spoilers, this book revolves around a boy whose parents need to work. Both of them are working, so they hire someone to babysit. And there's more to the babysitter than meets the eye. I'm going to leave it at that. Really dark, really good. I also picked up Bloodlines because there's a lot of pages left for me to get through Bloodlines. So I end up reading about 200 pages today, which is pretty good for me. With Bloodlines, I am there, which is page 160, chapter 11, and I'm really enjoying this book. It's been really wonderful. So Sydney Sage from Vampire Academy, a lot of characters from Vampire Academy are in here. Sydney Sage and a couple of other alchemists need to help Jill Mastrano, and they're going to high school with her, and Sydney's playing the role of a high schooler, and it's just, there's more to this high school than meets the eye, and it's just really been a lot of fun. I love Rochelle Mead. It may be a guilty pleasure, but it's one I'm willing to accept. So really enjoying this one. My goal for tomorrow is to read another 100 pages of Bloodlines, because this book has the most pages left out of the 3 books that I'm reading at the moment. Today's check-in revolved around these 2 books. If you have any comments, thoughts, and questions, feel free to leave them below. But I'll see you again tomorrow on Thursday. Till then, bye. So before we go over to today's today's daily update, I have another book that I want to show you guys. I never normally get this many books at once, so I did not plan to keep coming to you guys with little outtakes here and there of books that I've received. So if this means the video has gone on far too long, I do apologise, but I am so incredibly excited about this book, and any time I've received a delivery, I've been opening the delivery hoping it was this book, and there were times where it wasn't, where I was okay with that, and then there were times where it wasn't, where I was like, oh, it can't it just be this one? And today it arrived. I'm so happy. I have what I'm calling the US version of Mistborn. Oh my god, you guys. So if you followed my channel, you know how much I love this book. This is not only my favourite book of 2020, because I hadn't read it prior to 2020, but it is my favourite book of all time, and I am all of a flutter. You should have seen me when I opened this thing. Like, I don't really open boxes in front of you guys. I don't do unboxings. I probably should from now on, and probably will. But I was so emotional when I opened this, and I was looking around for like a cheese plate glass dome cover, because I just want to protect this, put it in a box, and put like, I don't know, a very sensitive alarm system around it, because I've been wanting this book for so long, and it's been so hard to find. The UK version with the white covers for all the books in the Mistborn series are available here. They're very easy to find, but this version is next to impossible to find. So now that I have my own copy, I'm going to guard it with my life. I almost want to put it under my pillow. But I'm really, really happy. So it's going to go in my bookshelf now, and you're now going to see this book up there instead of the mass market paperback. I still will have a lot of love for the mass market paperback, but I now have this one too. All right, moving over to our daily vlog. Okay, we are walking, we are talking, we are making our way to the quote-unquote studio to do the daily vlog. Oh, and we are here. So, let's do this. Okay, so today is Thursday, and I have been reading more Bloodlines, and this book is amazing. So we're at this high school, and for those of you who don't know, well, actually, you do know, so I'm not going to repeat myself. We're at the high school, and because I've talked about it in other vlogs, we're at the high school, and these high schoolers, these students, are getting these tattoos that seem to be doing things to them, and we've been trying to work out what's going on with these tattoos and how they seem to be affecting these students. I had a prediction of what it was. I was right, but that did not disappoint me because I was very excited when I thought of my prediction. I was like, if it's this, I'm going to be really happy, and it is. So I'm really intrigued. Also, we have a ton of Adrian Ivashkov. Oh. I mean, Kelsier from Mistborn is my fictional boyfriend, but if I were to ever have another one, it will be Adrian Ivashkov, because I just love this guy. So there's a ton of Adrian in this book, and I love that. So I'm having a lot of fun with this book. I am currently there, which is page 263. Tomorrow I'm planning on reading a little bit more. I'm planning to get to page 314 because I want around about 100 pages left to go when I next pick up the book after tomorrow. But also tomorrow I'm going to go back to The Book Thief, and I'm going to finish this book off. So tomorrow you will see my first completed book, and I'm really happy with that. And of course I'm also going to read some more Bloodlines. So these are the books I spoke about in this daily update. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, for another mini update. See you then. Bye. Okay, so it is Friday, which means I have finished. I don't know why I have a bookmark still in here. I have finished this book, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Yeah, okay. So, what have we learned, Mr. Francie, when it comes to historical fiction? We have learned that I'm not a fan. The idea that this book is narrated by death was like a siren song to me. I love the idea of death in any sort of fiction, the character of death, and so I went into this book incredibly excited, and the first two chapters, which were really short, were good. The rest of the book was a complete and utter bore. I finished the book for two reasons. One, I was listening to it on audiobook, and the narrator, whose name is Dennis Olsen, so big shout out to Dennis, did an amazing job. His enunciation and just his clearness overall as a narrator was just outstanding, and that kept me going. Also, the writing style is easy enough to read, so I figured I might as well keep going, and I'd already DNF'd another book. Mild interruption there, so I forgot what I was saying, but that's okay. Look, this book is about a girl who is adopted in war-torn Germany and follows her, and the whole purpose of death is irrelevant, and you forget that Death's even narrating this book. He jumps in every now and again to make certain clarifications, like if a German word comes up, because it's set in Germany, Death will just jump in and say, by the way, this word means this. Or he'll just jump in with other things. We're flowing along quite nicely in the book, and then Death just goes, by the way, don't forget me. I'm still here. I have to tell you something quickly. Now that I've told you this, back to the book. It's really annoying. So I just didn't like this book, but I think for what Marcus Zusak set out to do, to create a historical fiction book with a spin, I think he did well, and I think the target audience, those who love historical fiction, will love this book. I just didn't. I'm sorry, I just didn't. I gave it 2 stars, so I didn't enjoy it. I also kept up my read with Bloodlines. In 2 days on Sunday, I'm going to wrap this book up, but I am currently there, page 22, and oh my god, this book is amazing. There are reveals that occur throughout this book that are insanely good. I am enjoying myself so much with this book, and I have read it before. It's just I read it many years ago. I think I read the first book, or the first and the second in the Bloodline series, but I don't remember at all what happened. At least with Vampire Academy, I remembered a few things, but I don't remember anything that happened with Bloodlines. But yeah, we've just had our third reveal, and it's the best reveal we've had so far, but the other two are still amazing reveals. This has just been an absolute joy to read. Rochelle Mead, without a doubt, one of my guilty pleasures. I am loving this book, and I can see myself jumping headfirst into this series. This book, Book 1, the Bloodline series, is much better than Book 1, the Vampire Academy series, so I think I'm going to keep that up. So, what am I going to do tomorrow? So tomorrow I'm going to be completing The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This book is really amazing. Starts off kind of like a contemporary, and then partway through it just gets really dark really quickly. But the darkness, it's still enjoyable despite the fact that it's dark. I've read Stephen King books that I just don't enjoy, but Neil Gaiman, he knows. It's like he wrote for my soul, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, Neil. I'll be reading that tomorrow. Okay, these are not only the books I spoke about today, but the books I've been talking about all week. I finished this, 2 stars. About 100 pages away from finishing this. I'll finish it on Sunday. Tomorrow I will finish this one. We're wrapping up this week. I'll see you again tomorrow for the start of the weekend. See you then. Okay, so it is now Saturday, and I have decided on a whim to make Saturday my final day for weekly vlogs. There's a reason for this. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, and if I finish my weekly vlogs on Saturdays, I can get it out to you guys on Sunday, so it can be the last video that I upload for each week. Let's talk about the books that I read this week, because I have finished all of them. Even if I hadn't, I still would have finished the vlog here, but I did finish all of them. So let's quickly talk about them. First of all, The Book Thief. This is probably my least favourite book of the week. Well, not probably, it is. It received 2 stars from me. So going into this book, all I knew was that it was narrated by Death, and I thought that that would make for a very intriguing read. It did not. It is a historical fiction, a book that is told by the narrator of Death, yes, but Death is not the focus. The focus is on a girl who has been adopted and is raised in war-torn Germany. I didn't find the book that intriguing at all, really, but it was good enough for me to keep going. Major shout out to the guy Dennis Olsen, I believe his name is, who does the audio version on Audible, because he was so amazing. His enunciation and crispness were just beyond belief, and I had to keep reading for him, but the book overall just did not impress me, but that's because I'm not the target audience. If you enjoy historical fiction, then I recommend you read it, but I gave this book 2 stars. The second book that I finished was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This is an adult dark fantasy that I gave 4 stars to, and I'm kind of confused as to why it's called an adult dark fantasy. I was kind of waiting for the adult stuff to happen, and it just never came. So yeah, I'm very confused. For me, it read more like a middle grade, so not even a YA. It read more as a middle grade than an adult, and it's marketed as an adult book. Can someone explain this to me? Anyway, so I did deduct 1 star because I don't think that the book lived up to its age rating at all, and I don't think I can give a book 5 stars if it's not living up to its age rating. So why is it an adult book? Someone explain this to me, please. This book, the premise of this book is that it surrounds, it's about, anyway, a boy who his parents are both working, so they hire a babysitter to look after their children, and there is more to the babysitter than meets the eye. It is a very short book. It's a pamphlet, or if you prefer, a novella. It's less than 250 pages. But it starts off seemingly like a contemporary and then gets dark really quickly. But which it did, and I enjoyed that. And nothing against Neil Gaiman, I loved the surprise of it turning dark really quickly. But I don't think it was dark enough to be considered an adult book. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But I enjoyed my read. I really did love it, and that's why it got 4 stars instead of like 3 or 2. I still thought it was good. Still just very confused that it was an adult book. Would love to read more Neil Gaiman in the future, though. The final book that I read this week has some bookmarks in it, so I'm just trying to take them out very quickly. Okay, was Bloodlines, the first book in the spin-off Vampire Academy series, also known as Bloodlines, just like the first book in the Vampire Academy series is called Vampire Academy. It's very original. But anyway, this book is by Rochelle Mead. It is a YA urban fantasy, and it takes place post the final book in the Vampire Academy series, with certain side characters from that series now taking the focus. This series and this book follows the perspective of Sydney Sage, who is an alchemist who appeared in the Vampire Academy series. And her goal, or she's been sent on an assignment by the other alchemists to look after Jill Mastrano, who is a Moroi from the, again, Vampire Academy series, and Jill needs to go to school, so Sydney masquerades as a high school student, sister of Jill, in order to be able to protect her. This was a ton of fun to read, not only for the sake of knowing half the characters, which made it really easy to just focus more on the plot than character development, but there were at least 3 mysteries, if not more, that were pieced and parceled throughout the book, and every reveal got better and better and better. But the first reveal was still amazing, and then they got better than amazing as it went throughout the book. I had so much fun with this, and I'm definitely planning on reading book 2 at some point in the future, probably on my September TBR. But these are the books that I read this week, my least favourite being The Book Thief, 2 stars, my favourite being Bloodlines, which I gave 5 stars to, and this one kind of fell in the middle, but it still received 4 stars, which is a really good rating. Have you read these books? If so, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments section below. If you'd like to discuss spoilers with me, my email is in the description below, but otherwise I'm going to leave that there. Wrapping up this week, I hope you enjoyed this style of video, and again, I apologise for how long this was. I was certainly not expecting to be hauling that many books. I never get book deliveries, and then suddenly I just got so many, so I do apologise for that, but I hope that you enjoyed it anyway. Letting you guys go, peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah. Happy reading. Bye guys. Bye.